Hey, it's Kimmy K. Last episode was extremely eye-opening, and it was really interesting to watch. We had Dany looking like a tyrant, we had this amazing scene with Sam and Gilly where it actually fought the storyline for once, and my god, Coldhands revealed, Benjen Stark comes back, incredible shit. I'll save the rest for the review, but for now, we're going to break down the episode 7 preview.
As long as I'm standing, the war is not over.
Okay, so we start with this bridge to RiverRun, lowering down to reveal Jaime, who's clearly there to talk about some kind of surrender or truce between them. But Blackfish is there, and he's as hard as ever. Can I quickly add that the armor for the Tullys look really awesome. It's got that kind of fish scaly kind of look to it, and it's really awesome for the kind of house theme of them having a fish for the icon. Now we get that dialogue from Blackfish, where he says, "As long as I'm still standing, the war is not over." Now RiverRun is going to have a whole bunch of awesome meetings throughout either this episode and the next. We've got this meeting between Blackfish and Jaime, which are really awesome character parallels. You know, Jaime was brought up with a lot more money and wealth, where the Blackfish is a bit more cold and calculating and very inward emotions. Also, I believe that Jaime and Brienne will be meeting up at RiverRun as well. It's going to be interesting because she was kind of like loyal to him, he was loyal to Catelyn Stark, he's loyal to Sansa, and all of them are kind of meeting with their interests here. Like Catelyn Stark was betrayed by the Freys, who now Jaime is helping, and she's helping out Sansa, who wants to help out the Blackfish. So everyone's goals are mixing and confusing, because Brienne is kind of on both sides here, which is an awkward situation for her to be in.
Our two ancient houses face collapse because of your stupidity.
Now the Queen of Thorns is really showing those thorns now. She's extremely pissed and she understands fully what's happening in the situation and how they're getting manipulated and destroyed by this High Sparrow, and she's completely pissed. Personally, I believe Olenna is one of the few people that actually has a small smidgen chance to be able to beat the High Sparrow in his own game. So far, she hasn't done much. It's been Cersei's plans, Cersei's ideas, Cersei's everything, and she just kind of like carefully went along as much as she could, keeping her ideas to herself and just seeing what happens. And now she's going to take action, she's going to take charge, and whether she succeeds or not is to be seen.
I did what I had to do to survive. I will always be a Stark.
So Davos, Sansa and Jon are all going around trying to recruit the members of the different houses in the north to help them in their cause to fight the Bolthans. Now of course, some of the Northern Lords are a little bit confused in why she married Tyrion, why she married Ramsay, why all these mistakes and stuff like that. They don't really understand that she was just a victim and manipulated by people into these situations. But I feel like we're going to have like this recognition between her and Robb Stark, and how Robb Stark was stern, steady, mean, almost vindictious to the Lords to be able to show his power and his own manness, and Sansa will do this in her own way. Now we see her going to House Mormont, which we guessed before, with Davos and Jon, and then here at House Glover. And man, she's going to be pulling that Stark card all day long, because she needs the people to stand behind her and remember who they should be loyal to. We also see that Sansa is writing letters to different northern houses and stuff to be able to get them, because she can't really go to every single house by herself. Now I'm really interested to see this kind of trio dynamic between Davos, Jon and Sansa. Like those characters come from completely different storylines, completely different things, and they're all mixing up now. It's really what's going to be going on. Because, you know, Davos is always bound King's Landing on this big fight there and stuff. Sansa was kind of like a victim, getting with Peter Baelish and then going up to the north, where Jon was always at the war and stuff. So they got completely different characteristics and walks of life, and they can all meet together and use those things that they learned throughout this journey to help each other out and hopefully succeed.
We're gonna take back the Iron Islands. Then we'll get revenge.
As we suspected from the trailer, she's at Volantis, she's on the bridge, and she's trying to head her way to Dany, trying to get revenge, planning a plot with Theon to either regain the Iron Islands and regain the respect of her people. Now with the Greyjoy storyline being changed in the show, it's going to be really interesting to see how it turns out. Like when in the books we have this Victorian character and stuff, and it feels like he's being very fooled and benevolent and stuff, but in the show it feels like Yara has a lot more bigger chance to be able to get one up on Euron. But I don't know how Dany's/Tyrion's character is going to react to Yara and Theon showing up to Meereen and offering their services and stuff. It's going to be like, whoa, these characters are not people you expect to meet up and have to work with. Also, I love that little clip in the episode when it was like, how many ships do you think it would take to be able to get all the people across Westeros? Or maybe 1,000 ships. I wonder if anyone's putting 1,000 ships. I don't know anyone.
He died for us. If we are not willing to do the same for him, we're cowards.
Now, I would have loved it if Tormund replaced the word coward with pussy. It would have made his character scene that much more cooler. So Tormund is trying to convince the wildlings to fight for Jon. They just went through this huge traumatic experience. They got a lot of people killed off. They just managed to survive and get to the south, and they're just settling down, and now they're being asked to fight again on this side of some Northern Lord army. It's going to be really interesting to see how they react to that, because they know their giant lives to Jon. They know that they owe their lives to Jon, but it's still going to be pretty hard to ask them to fight again. I hope we get some kind of dramatic and awesome speech by Jon where he's like, I will fight with you, we will die, we'll work together, but it's for the future of all mankind, or some shit. It'd be quite interesting to see how they react to Jon's leadership, because I feel like just Tormund's word isn't going to be enough. It's going to be having Jon driving home the whole thing to be able to bring them to the side and make them loyal to him 100%.
The real war is between the living and the dead.
Now, before I address the dialogue in these scenes, I'm going to just talk about the shots we get. Now, here I believe we're definitely going to get the same kind of plot as we got from the book, so maybe a little bit different, but it's clearly poking at that whole scenario we got in the books with Edmure being put on for this like whole big stand and displayed in front of RiverRun as kind of like a warning message that we're going to kill him, we're going to torture him, stuff like that, unless you give up RiverRun. But seriously, Blackfish will never give up RiverRun for Edmure. He's too smart for that. Now, we also have Brom here, so it's going to be quite, I don't want to say interesting again because I've said that fucking too many times, but it's going to be quite cool to see if he can impregnate this bitch instead.
The Eyrie. They say it's impregnable. Give me 10 good men and some climbing spikes. I'll impregnate the bitch.
The real war is between the living and the dead. And make no mistake, the dead are coming.
Okay, so David says the real war is between the living and the dead are coming, which is this whole kind of driving home speech of like the White Walkers and that threat coming from the north is the real problem. So we need to deal with this, wrap it under, get all the forces, and then head to the war, which is going to be something that's going to be really hard to sell to these northern lords and stuff like that, especially on top of trying to get them to do the loyalty to be able to fight the Boltons. So I wonder what's going to happen there. Now they have Jon and Sansa both backing Davos, and they have the Night's Watch people, they have Davos's word, and a whole bunch of people convincing them that this is going to actually happen. So I don't know how many lords are going to think about it and stuff like that, but they all address this first thing first, and if they manage this, then maybe they'll reduce it again later on, and that will be the bigger focus for even season 7 going on 8. But basically, when you hear that, it puts everything into perspective. It's like, this war is meaningless. Everything that's been happening in the Seven Kingdoms is just a stupid waste of life. Anti-war, anti-death, this whole unity feel. It's the Game of Thrones themes. They need to work together because this pointless fighting will not lead to success. They need to band together and fight the other in quotation marks. Thanks for watching. I want to say awesome thanks to today's video sponsor, the King McKay channel. Now, King McKay is this awesome service that allows you to get videos every single week to do with Game of Thrones and a range of topics like that. So if you go to www.youtube.com/king, you can get a free subscription forever to the King McKay channel on me. That's youtube.com/King McKay. Now we've done with that completely real and different sponsor, you should subscribe to my channel. Like right now, like it's right there. Just click the fucking subscribe button. Do it. What if, hypothetically, if you click that subscribe button, you got angel wings? Just saying. I'm not saying it will happen, but hypothetically, it may happen if you click the subscribe button. You won't know until you do it. I said just